This story begins on a sunny March 2nd, 2030, on a busy street in Luo City. Inside an office, a voice questions a young man about the weight of borrowing such a large sum. A man lights a cigarette, exhaling smoke. This is Zhang Yang, boss of the Ocean Gang and an underground banker. He warns his client his interest rates are steep. Across from him, a terrified young man in a blue hoodie stammers that he's willing to pay high interest to get the loan. Zhang Yang leans forward with a predatory aura, demanding 40% interest. For a 5 million loan, 7 million must be repaid in 6 months with immediate collateral. The nervous young man offers the deed to his house as collateral. Zhang Yang inspects the deed but is unimpressed, noting the old property is only worth 3 or 4 million. He views the man as an easy target. He tells the young man he cannot lend 5 million based on the house. The man becomes desperate, begging for 4 million. He claims a fortune teller said he has insane luck and he plans to double the money gambling. Convinced he's a foolish gambling addict, Zhang Yang makes a final offer of 3.5 million, threatening to walk away. The young man's demeanor shifts to manic excitement as he instantly accepts. Zhang Yang finalizes the harsh terms. Repay 4.9 million in 3 months or lose the house. The young man agrees, but his expression darkens. He stares at the mob boss, stating he has one specific condition. 10 minutes later, the deal is done. A large thug politely sees the young man out. The young man checks his phone and confirms a 3,500,000 yuan transfer to his account. Instantly, his nervous facade drops. He sneers, calling the loan shark a dumbass. His thoughts reveal the truth. He won't repay the loan because the apocalypse starts in 1 month. He will use the funds to prepare, refusing to relive his past misery. He recalls his previous timeline, when a massive solar flare struck Earth, destroying the ecosystem and raising temperatures to 50 degrees Celsius. This triggered a scorching 30-day apocalypse, leaving a wasteland where mutated beasts scavenged on human remains. In the office, Zhang Yang holds the contract triumphantly. He believes the borrower took the terrible rate for quick cash, remarking that gamblers don't deserve a home. His assistant behind him looks concerned. He notes the house is worth over 4 million, yet the man took 3.5 million immediately and wonders if it's a trap. Zhang Yang dismisses his concerns with a smirk. He says gambling addicts would sell their own families for chips, so a house means nothing. He orders his assistant to work with the casino to take everything the young man has. The assistant acknowledges the order. As the sun sets, Chen walks down the street looking at his phone. He's amused, thinking there are good people since the loan shark gave him money so easily. He isn't scared of the interest rates because he borrowed from every loan shark in Luo City in 1 day. With a sinister look, he decides that now that he has the money, he will never pay it back. Chen's thoughts drift to the future he's avoiding, where the earth dried up, vegetation withered, and social order collapsed. In that future, supplies were scarce, and people fought ruthlessly for any resources. He remembers that controlling supplies meant supreme power. Chen vows that this time, he will become the king of the apocalypse. He recalls seeing billionaires and superstars begging like dogs for a sausage or water, while those who didn't died miserably in gutters. In the present, Chen stands confidently. Now that he's reborn, he has time to execute his plans before the disaster. His attention is drawn to a nearby noise. 2 women at a shop display discuss a luxury ice cream brand, Shuigao Assassin, noting how expensive it is. Chen glares intensely at the shop. He remembers saving to buy these expensive ice creams for a woman named Liu Wanqing, bitterly thinking it was a bigger waste than feeding a dog. Shaking off the painful memory, he decides to enjoy the present. He approaches the counter, shocking the women by ordering 10 of every type of ice cream available. The women whisper, wondering if he can afford it and admiring how handsome he looks spending money. The skeptical waitress asks if he's being serious about the massive order. The waitress explains their products are high-end, and the order would cost over 20,000 won, asking if he's sure. A woman with reddish-brown hair mocks him, insulting his outfit and calling him broke. She says if he can afford it, she will get on her knees and bow. Chen turns to her, asking with sharp intensity if she really means it. The woman flinches but maintains her composure, questioning his status and if he really expects her to bow. Chen smirks, remarking that he gave her a way out she refused. He states that nothing could stop her from bowing to him today. As Chen stares her down confidently, the woman looks furious and yells at him. Ignoring her, Chen shows his phone to the trembling waitress. The screen shows a balance over 20 million yuan. He tells her to wrap up every ice cream as he'll take it all. The overwhelmed waitress says she needs the manager. Moments later, the manager, Fei, arrives. Chen tells him to calculate the price of everything in the shop and says there's no need to stay open for others. Fei is shocked, wondering who this big shot is buying his entire monthly turnover. He notes that while their goods are expensive, they rarely get customers who buy. Manager Fei reports the display goods are worth 70,000, but with the back inventory, the total is around 1 million. Chen thinks this isn't expensive. He decides to empty their stock so he can enjoy ice cream at home when the apocalypse hits. He tells Faye he will transfer a 300,000 deposit and asks for the inventory to be delivered. Faye enthusiastically agrees, calling him Brother Chen. With business done, Chen smiles at the two other women watching and tells them to choose any ice cream they want. He spreads his arms, announces it's his treat, and reveals his name is Chen Xiao. The bystanders admire his wealth and good looks. However, Chen Xiao's expression turns dark looking at the rude woman. He clarifies the treat is for everyone except her, and coldly reminds her he's waiting for her to kneel. The confrontation climaxes as the humiliated and terrified rude woman stammers for words. Unable to withstand the pressure and her promise, she sobs and falls to her knees before Chen Xiao. Chen Xiao looks down at her with a cold gaze, asking why she acted so tough if she couldn't back it up. Later at sunset in a peaceful park, Chen Xiao sits on a bench enjoying an expensive ice cream. He admits the assassin brand lives up to its reputation for taste. As he finishes, he uses a supernatural power, summoning a black void near his hand. He uses this dimensional space to store his shopping bag. He reflects that the space keeps items in stasis, meaning his food will stay fresh or hot forever. He is surprised because in his original timeline, abilities only awakened after the apocalypse started. He didn't expect his spatial ability to travel back with him. He looks at his hand, realizing this mysterious storage power will be his greatest trump card for survival. Chen Xiao smiles, imagining a future controlling all resources where celebrities will beg him for food. Back in reality, he plans his next moves: a safe house, cold storage, weapons, and energy reserves. Sighing at the work ahead, suddenly his phone rings. The caller ID is Lu Wanqing, saved as Little Fairy. He scoffs, thinking it's bad luck she is calling him already. Seeing her name brings back bitter memories for Chen Xiao. After his parents died, she entered his life, seeming like a savior in his darkest time. But that image was a lie. In reality, she only wanted his parents' inheritance. She demanded a luxury condo downtown, paid in full and in her name, plus a huge bride price of 880,000 yuan. She manipulated him constantly, even urging him to sell his ancestral home, calling it old and rundown. Chen Xiao vividly remembers the ultimate betrayal. In his past life, she eventually convinced him to sell that home to satisfy her greed. Worst of all, when the apocalypse began and resources disappeared, she betrayed him to a gang leader, offering Chen Xiao as raw material in exchange for her own safety. Chen Xiao is filled with fury, remembering he gave everything to protect her, only to be sold like livestock. He recalls his gruesome death in his previous life, where he was eaten and didn't even die in one piece. Now, a terrifying grin spreads across his face. Since she has delivered herself to him, he will settle this debt for good. In a luxury hotel where he is staying, Chen Xiao answers his phone. He uses a gentle, concerned tone, asking his babe why she is calling and if something is wrong. On the other end, Liu Wanqing, in a bathrobe, puts on a pitiful act. She lies that she was out with friends and accidentally lost a gold necklace, trying to guilt him. Hiding a sinister smile, Chen Xiao plays along. He tells her not to worry and offers to buy her a new one, then says he will buy 10 so she can rotate them. Liu Wanqing is stunned by his sudden generosity, as he was never this wealthy before. Chen Xiao quickly lies to explain, claiming he made a huge profit from cryptocurrency and wants to spend it on her. She is skeptical, asking if it was a scam, but he insists he plans to make a killing in the next round and is planning something huge. He explains he is gathering money for a massive investment, but the loan requires a witness. He asks for her help, offering her 5% of the loan amount as a fee and baiting his trap. Liu Wanqing comes out of a bathroom wearing a towel. An older, balding man complains about how long she took. Liu Wanqing immediately acts sweet, hugging the man and calling him honey, asking him to wait a bit longer. Internally, however, she calculates that she only gets 5,000 for a night with this old geezer, while Chen Xiao is offering 50,000 for a signature. She believes there is no risk, seeing Chen Xiao as a coward who would never scam her. After the call ends, Chen Xiao stares at his phone with a terrifying, red-eyed gaze and whispers that he will be waiting for her. Later, Chen Xiao stands outside a large residential building, deciding he will turn it into his personal fortress. In the courtyard with a contractor, Chen Xiao points to the building and gives a strict 1-month deadline to make it an impenetrable stronghold. He lists his extreme demands: bulletproof glass with hidden security mesh for the windows, and exterior walls thickened to 3 meters with concrete that can withstand a magnitude 8 earthquake. As the contractor nervously types, Chen Xiao continues, requiring a self-sustaining ecosystem with a 72-hour oxygen supply, water recycling, and blast-proof doors with both biometric and mechanical locks. He also instructs him to cover the roof with solar panels, install a generator for guaranteed power, and add a military-grade air filtration system. He summarizes, In 1 month, the building must be a combat-ready bunker. The contractor stares in shock, wondering if Chen Xiao is a paranoid doomsday prepper who has watched too many sci-fi movies. Chen Xiao notices the hesitation and challenges the man, mentioning his resume as a defense master for billionaires. The contractor stammers that the unique requirements will have a massive budget. Suddenly, the contractor's greed takes over. He dismisses Chen Xiao as another rich eccentric with more money than sense. Chen Xiao interrupts by showing a 1 million yuan transfer on his phone. He calls it a deposit and tells the contractor to name his price for the final payment. The contractor is overcome with excitement, realizing he has found a rich sucker who could make him wealthy for life. They end their negotiation with a firm handshake. The contractor stresses he is strict about materials and promises to build an impregnable fortress. However, both men have hidden intentions. The contractor plans to fleece his client for every penny. Meanwhile, Chen Xiao scoffs, knowing the man will never collect the final payment once the apocalypse hits. With the fortress construction arranged, Chen Xiao considers his survival list. He knows that supplies like medicine, food, and essentials are the easy part. His expression turns grim as he thinks about the apocalypse's true danger, human nature after society collapses. He knows melee weapons won't be enough, and that finding firearms will be the tricky part. Walking down the street, Chen Xiao checks his smartphone. He messages a black market contact about a direct source and discreet channels, asking how to proceed with the purchase. The contact replies immediately, telling him to meet at a specific address at 8:00 p.m. tonight and not to be late. Later, Chen Xiao arrives at the location. He finds it suspicious that an illegal deal would be set in a crowded, older residential neighborhood. Suddenly, the sound of frantic running footsteps breaks the silence. A terrified young woman appears, fleeing from 3 thugs who are chasing her and screaming insults. The woman looks completely desperate. She runs straight into Chen Xiao. The thugs catch up and surround them. The leader yells at her for cheating on his turf and asks if she has a death wish. Trembling, the woman clutches Chen Xiao's arm and begs him to save her. Chen Xiao looks at her face and freezes in shock. He instantly recognizes her as Li Yuyu and wonders what she is doing in such a dangerous place. The tense standoff on the dark street escalates. Li Yuyu is surrounded by 3 men. One points at Chen Xiao to warn him away, while another roughly grabs Li Yuyu. The situation turns violent when a thug pulls Li Yuyu's hair, forcing her head back and making her cry out in pain. Chen Xiao stares at the woman with a focused expression as he says her name. He remembers her from their school days, a radiant, bespectacled girl known as the Genius Goddess, who was admired by countless boys. Returning to the present, Chen Xiao listens to the confrontation. The slick-haired leader tightens his grip on Li Yuyu's hair and screams that she must hand over the money to be allowed to leave. A thug with a mohawk licks his lips and suggests that if she can't pay with cash, she should pay with her body instead. Having heard enough, Chen Xiao steps forward with a menacing aura. He glares at the thugs and coldly tells them to let her go. The thugs and Li Yuyu look confused by his sudden interference, not knowing who he is. Enraged by the interruption, one of the gang members attacks. He shouts insults and swings a massive punch, threatening to cripple Chen Xiao for playing the hero. Chen Xiao remains calm, his eyes glowing with red intensity as he focuses on the attack. With incredible speed, Chen Xiao easily evades the punch, letting the fist pass harmlessly. Before the thug can react, Chen Xiao grabs his wrist in an iron grip. The thug screams as his hand is crushed. Without hesitating, Chen Xiao delivers a devastating punch to the thug's face. The impact sends the man flying into alley debris as the others watch in shock. At that moment, a system window appears in Chen Xiao's vision, detecting negative emotions like fear and rage from his target. The system confirms the negative emotion harvesting system has been activated. Chen Xiao freezes, surprised by the holographic interface. He realizes he has awakened a system, a power he lacked in his past life. The gang leader grabs Li Yuyu and rips her shirt. He screams at Chen Xiao, threatening to kill her if he takes another step. Suddenly, a figure on a building above hurls a brick down. It strikes the gang leader in the face with brutal force, knocking him out. The 2 remaining thugs stare in shock as their boss collapses. A man in a floral shirt jumps down from the shadows, landing confidently. He mocks the thugs for bullying a defenseless girl. Enraged, the 2 thugs scream and charge forward with weapons to attack. Chen Xiao effortlessly raises his arm, blocking a punch from one attacker. Simultaneously, the stranger in the floral shirt delivers a powerful high kick to the thug with the bat. Chen Xiao swiftly evades an attack, causing his opponent to stumble. He counters with a devastating punch to the bald thug's face. The 2 men fight in perfect sync, knocking their opponents into the air simultaneously. To keep him down, the man in the floral shirt ruthlessly stomps on his opponent's chest. With the thugs defeated, Chen Xiao and the stranger stand together, dominating the scene. Chen Xiao glares at the beaten men with glowing red eyes and coldly orders them to leave. As the thugs flee in terror, Chen Xiao's system notifies him that he is harvesting their fear and despair. He is pleased this has unlocked an expansion for his spatial storage. Chen Xiao smirks as they run, finding his new ability to harvest emotions interesting. Chen Xiao approaches Li Yuyu on the ground and offers a hand. He thanks her, explaining her trouble inadvertently helped him reach his goal. As he helps her up, he gently asks if she is hurt. Blushing and clutching her torn clothes, Li Yuyu stammers her thanks. She says she has urgent matters and rushes off, as Chen Xiao tells her to be careful. After the girl leaves, the man in the floral shirt approaches. He compliments Chen Xiao's hero saving the beauty act and introduces himself as Mu Chang. Chen Xiao realizes this is the contact he was looking for. He reveals he is the buyer Mu Chang was expecting, noting the coincidence. Suddenly, Mu Chang strikes a dramatic martial arts pose and shouts a secret code phrase about a heavenly king and earth tiger to test Chen Xiao. Unimpressed, Chen Xiao stares at him blankly and calls him a moron. The insult triggers the system. A notification above Mu Chang's head shows Chen Xiao has harvested dumbfounded and awkward emotions. Laughing it off, Chen Xiao claims it was just a joke. He puts an arm around Mu Chang and leads him away to discuss business. Later that night, they arrive at a quiet, secluded house. Inside, Mu Chang opens a box, revealing a handgun. He explains it's a durable Russian model, but ammo is scarce. Chen Xiao inspects the gun while Mu Chang praises his fighting skills and offers him a friendship price. As Chen Xiao handles the weapon, Mu Chang watches him with a calculating gaze. However, Chen Xiao gives a cheeky grin. Holding the gun, he asks for a free suppressor, warranty, and extra ammo, stressing out the dealer. Mu Chang is shocked by the greedy demands. He shouts that he is already offering a friendship price and asks if Chen Xiao understands. He trembles with frustration, thinking anyone else would pay double, yet this customer is asking for a warranty and freebies. Losing his patience, Mu Chang points angrily at Chen Xiao, yelling that he isn't buying an appliance and sarcastically suggests he should just rob him. As Mu Chang fumes, Chen Xiao's system shows he has harvested emotions like shock, heartache, and speechlessness. Satisfied, Chen Xiao smiles, drops the extra requests, and agrees to the original price, transferring the money. With the deal done, he reflects that he has his fortress, supplies, and a weapon, with only one task left. At a luxurious hotel, the building glows in the night. Inside a penthouse, Liu Wanqing, in a red evening gown, looks out at the city. Chen Xiao arrives and wraps his arms around her from behind. Liu Wanqing complains about the wait. She skeptically asks if the loan plan is risk-free. Chen Xiao smoothly lies that her signature is just a formality, claiming he'd never scam her. Internally, Liu Wanqing smirks. She remembers he once sold his blood for her handbag and is convinced he is too much of a simp to ever cross her. Later, in the office of loan shark Zhang Yang, Liu Wanqing sits with the mob boss. He compliments her decisiveness as she prepares to sign. As she signs, Zhang Yang watches with a predatory gaze. He thinks the dumb broad believes she is just a guarantor, but the contract actually transfers all debt to her. Zhang Yang lights a cigar and grins maliciously, imagining when she fails to make payments. He stares at her with lust, deciding that when she cannot pay the money, she will have to pay with her body. Chen Xiao sits back on the sofa, satisfied as he watches the plan unfold. He reflects that Liu Wanqing's greed was what he needed, as her signature acted as a deed of sale, securing funds for his safe house. Later, Chen Xiao stands outside his fortified building with the contractor, who assures him the house is reinforced to military standards with heat insulation and blast proofing, boasting it could survive a nuclear blast. Satisfied, Chen Xiao hands over the payment. The contractor accepts it with a greedy grin, asking for future work, unaware money will soon be worthless. Alone in his fortress, Chen Xiao waits with a tablet. The moment arrives with a news alert about unprecedented and intense solar flare activity. On television, a news anchor gravely reports that the globe is about to face sustained, extreme heat waves. As the broadcast warns citizens to take protective measures against record-shattering heat, Chen Xiao calmly wipes down his handgun. He brings the weapon close, his expression dark and focused, whispering to himself that the time has finally come. In the room's ominous red glow, Chen Xiao holds the gun at his side, confirming the apocalypse is here. His eyes narrow with serious, intense determination. He walks to the window to look at the city. A massive, burning solar flare dominates the sky, bathing the world in a terrifying, fiery light as the catastrophe begins. The catastrophe begins. On television, a news anchor reports a massive solar flare has hit Earth. She warns of extreme global temperatures reaching 45 degrees Celsius and advises people to stay inside. The heat is immediate and oppressive. As sweat pours down his face, Chen Xiao grimly knows this is only the beginning. The entire city is scorched by a blinding light as the massive sun turns the metropolis into an oven. Civilians are already suffering. One woman splashes water on her face, trying to cool her burning skin. Drenched in sweat, she leans over her balcony, complaining that the weather is killing her and wondering how long it will last. On the street, a chubby shop owner in a floral shirt uses a megaphone. He tells frightened neighbors that temperatures will keep rising and warns of a supply shortage, urging them to buy his last batch of goods before rationing begins. The owner wipes sweat from his forehead. He isn't worried about the disaster, he just grins, thinking the heat wave is a perfect chance to make a fortune. A group of women approaches his stall, asking him to lower the high price of his watermelons. One of them crouches to inspect the fruit. The shop owner looks down at her with a lecherous expression, clearly more interested in her body than the sale. Leaning forward with a creepy smile, he tells the woman that if she buys 2 melons, he'll give her a discount and a free pack of tissues. He then suggests the women come to his house at night to enjoy his air conditioning. Looking uncomfortable, they quickly decline his offer. Undeterred, he leans uncomfortably close to the woman's face, pressuring her to buy now since there might be no food for sale tomorrow. However, his attitude shifts when 2 men ask for a lower price on water. He angrily points at them, shouting that he runs a small business and allows no bargaining. As the greedy boss carries away a box of supplies, he is unaware of Chen Xiao watching him from the shade with a cold, silent gaze. Chen Xiao stares coldly, his eyes narrowing as he recognizes the shop owner as Li Dafu. The encounter triggers a painful memory from his past life of a humiliating moment in this very store. He remembers Li Dafu shouting to a crowd, accusing a younger Chen Xiao of theft and claiming to have caught the poor kid red-handed. Li Dafu twists young Chen Xiao's arm. When the boy explains he only picked up a fallen item, Li Dafu mocks him, refusing to believe it and demanding payment. In his memory, the crowd of bystanders judges him, gossiping about his upbringing and assuming his silence is an admission of guilt. Overwhelmed and terrified, young Chen Xiao weeps and stutters that he didn't steal, but no one believes him. Now Chen Xiao stands stoically in the shop, the room's silence a stark contrast to his noisy memories. He notices a price tag on a shelf. A simple pack of onion potato chips costs an outrageous 50 yuan, marked as a manager recommendation. Chen Xiao picks up the bag and sarcastically asks Li Dafu if the chips are made of gold or prevent heatstroke for such a high price. Sweating profusely, Li Dafu turns around with an annoyed look. Chen Xiao's system activates, notifying him he has harvested Disdain plus 3 from the shop owner. Losing patience, Li Dafu snatches the chips from Chen Xiao, yelling at him to get lost if he can't afford them. The system chimes, detecting irritation plus 6. Unfazed, Chen Xiao smirks. He leans in, taunting the boss about hoarding treasures, and ominously warns him to watch out for thieves. Li Dafu stops, confused by the threat. Li Dafu explodes with rage, pointing at Chen Xiao. He demands to know who he is cursing and threatens him, asking if the heat has driven him insane. However, Chen Xiao remains calm. He asks if Li Dafu has recently suffered from insomnia, night sweats, and weak knees. Caught off guard, Li Dafu's anger fades, and he admits that he has. Li Dafu grows anxious, wondering aloud if bad feng shui in his warehouse is causing his problems. Chen Xiao leans in close and grabs the shopkeeper's face. He gravely declares that Li Dafu's yin tang is dark, a terrible omen. Suddenly, Chen Xiao viciously slaps Li Dafu across the face, sending the man spinning with unfocused eyes. Chen Xiao rubs his chin, diagnosing the man with a deficiency. Enraged, Li Dafu recovers and tries to kick Chen Xiao, screaming that his whole family has a deficiency. Chen Xiao easily evades the attack. While Li Dafu fumes, Chen Xiao casually grabs a lollipop and mockingly advises him to watch his health, warning that anger is harmful. As he leaves, Chen Xiao tosses a coin, coldly predicting Li Dafu might die young if he isn't careful. Li Dafu is left trembling with rage. The coin hits the floor with a metallic clink. Immediately, the system glows red, notifying Chen Xiao that he has harvested a huge amount of negative emotion. Anger plus 20 from the furious shopkeeper. Several hours later, a black cat runs past the dark supermarket entrance. Chen Xiao stands before the glass doors, reflecting on his past life. He remembers swallowing his anger when bullied and vows that in this life, he will get everything back with interest. A sinister look crosses his face as he checks his system. The emotions harvested from Li Dafu are just enough for a spatial expansion of his storage ability. Chen Xiao acts immediately. Using the harvested negative emotions, he upgrades his ability, expanding his spatial storage by another 200 cubic meters. He raises his hand, and a swirling black void manifests in his palm, ready to devour everything in its path. A confident smile plays on his lips as he prepares his revenge. The next day, birds chirp peacefully outside the shop. Still recovering from their confrontation, Li Dafu walks toward his store, unaware of what awaits him. Nearby, Chen Xiao watches from the bushes. Suddenly, Li Dafu freezes, his jaw dropping as he looks through his supermarket's glass doors. He stumbles inside and stands paralyzed in the middle of the room. The reality hits him. The shelves, once stocked with overpriced goods, are now completely empty. Every item has vanished, leaving the metal racks bare. Lee Dafu's face darkens with rage. His mind races, wondering where his goods have gone. Unable to contain his fury, he grabs his head and screams, demanding to know who robbed him. Far away in his safe house, Chen Xiao watches a live video of Lee Dafu's breakdown. The system notifies him that Lee Dafu's suffering has generated 66 negative emotion points. Chen Xiao calmly sips a cold soda. He smiles with satisfaction as he watches his enemy suffer, enjoying his petty but satisfying revenge. Inside the warehouse, Lee Dafu screams in panic, demanding to know who stole his entire stock overnight. Overwhelmed, he collapses to his knees, screaming in frustration. A crowd of confused customers watches. They wonder if the supermarket is really empty or if Lee Dafu is faking it to hike up prices later. Two women discuss a rumor that someone saw a dark shadow floating in the warehouse last night. Lee Dafu turns pale, terrified that his store might be haunted. An invisible system interface appears, tallying negative emotions from the crowd. Chen Xiao watches with a satisfied smile, eating potato chips while observing Lee Dafu's stable emotional output. Chen Xiao eats his snack, but his expression turns sinister. His eyes glow red as he decides to add fuel to the fire to harvest more emotions. He walks past Lee Dafu, loudly commenting on how good the chips smell to draw attention. Lee Dafu stares at the chips in Chen Xiao's hands, realizing the packaging matches his missing stock. His shock turns to rage as he believes Chen Xiao is eating his stolen merchandise. Chen Xiao holds up the bag and mocks Lee Dafu, asking if the chips are made of gold to justify the high price. Chen Xiao taunts that hoarding treasures attracts thieves. Lee Dafu angrily slaps his hand away. Enraged, Lee Dafu grabs Chen Xiao's wrist, demanding to know where he got the snacks and accusing him of stealing. Chen Xiao feigns shock, then calmly asks if the furious man has any evidence for his accusations. Smirking, Chen Xiao warns the owner that making false accusations without proof has consequences. He mocks how clean the empty supermarket is and insultingly offers the remaining chips to the man. Desperate, Lee Dafu decides to use Chen Xiao as a scapegoat. He shakes him violently, blaming him for the theft because he complained about prices yesterday. The system registers a spike in anger from the shop owner. Chen Xiao turns to the crowd, asking if Lee Dafu thinks chips are only sold here. He claims the owner is framing an innocent customer. Onlookers agree that chips are common. Lee Dafu sweats, confused by how the wimp has suddenly become so confident. Chen Xiao proposes a bet. If Lee Dafu finds the stolen items at his house, he pays 10 times the value. If not, Lee Dafu must give up his backup generator. Blinded by rage, Lee Dafu accepts, getting close to Chen Xiao's face and vowing to expose him. The group goes to Chen Xiao's residence, with the crowd following closely. Inside, Lee Dafu is struck by the home's opulence, shocked to discover Chen Xiao is incredibly wealthy. He stares in awe at the expensive decor and crystal chandelier. He is also surprised to find a wardrobe filled with high-end clothing. Lee Dafu searches frantically, checking the fridge and a safe of gold bars but finds no stolen chips. Panic sets in as Lee Dafu realizes his mistake. Chen Xiao mocks him, asking if he wants to rip up the floorboards next. Humiliated, Lee Dafu stammers that there is no need to search further and tries to rush out. As he tries to leave, Chen Xiao's system registers a surge of embarrassment. Chen Xiao stops him, grabbing his shirt and reminding him about the generator bet. Turning to the crowd, Chen Xiao pressures the sweating shopkeeper, asking if he intends to go back on his word. Trapped, Lee Dafu asks Chen Xiao to take a step back and let it go. Unforgiving, Chen Xiao asks why Lee Dafu didn't step back when framing him for theft earlier. The system registers a spike of impatience. Hearing the onlookers mock his dishonesty, Lee Dafu snaps. He screams that he gave Chen Xiao a chance and throws a punch, but Chen Xiao easily catches it. Chen Xiao twists the shopkeeper's wrist. Lee Dafu screams in agony, forced to his knees, shouting that his hand is breaking. The system detects a massive surge of pain. Unable to bear the pain, Lee Dafu yields and promises to move the generator immediately. Chen Xiao stares coldly, warning Lee Dafu to be quick before the temperature rises. He points out that without the generator, Lee Dafu will suffer during the upcoming power rationing. The system rewards Chen Xiao, tallying significant points for humiliation, pain, and fear. Suddenly, Chen Xiao notices a notification. His phone rings, displaying Liu Wanqing. Liu Wanqing appears on the screen, furious. She complains that debt collectors have been following her for 2 days. Chen Xiao looks detached as Liu Wanqing screams, demanding to know why she is being stalked after signing his formality documents. On the video call, a furious Liu Wanqing demands the truth, asking why Dahai gang members are looking for her and accusing Chen Xiao of lying. Feigning heartbreak, Chen Xiao walks through his apartment. He asks why she won't trust him after he sacrificed so much for her, acting deeply saddened. Internally, he smirks. He realizes the perverts from Zhang Yang's gang are even more impatient to collect the debt than he expected. Standing by his fridge, he casually asks Liu Wanqing if the gang knows where she lives and what they said. Stressed and biting her thumb, Liu Wanqing says they don't know her address because she took back roads. She warns Chen Xiao not to play tricks. Chen Xiao calmly tells her not to overthink it, suggesting she might have just mistaken strangers for gang members. He sits in his cool, air-conditioned room. A luxury meal of grilled salmon, salad, and cold soda waits for him, contrasting with the heat outside. Liu Wanqing's expression shifts from anger to shock as she spots the food on his table through the camera. Staring in disbelief, she asks how he still has fresh food like that. Chen Xiao shows a Coke can to the camera, boasting that he has plenty more in stock. Intrigued, Liu Wanqing asks if he really has a lot of supplies. Sitting on her bed, her attitude changes. Since supplies are scarce, she wonders if Chen Xiao has actually struck it rich. Chen Xiao sips his cold drink, taunting her by saying she needs a bite of food in this hot weather. Chen Xiao takes a bite of the fresh salmon right in front of the camera. Liu Wanqing is stunned to see such high-quality food. Lying on her bed, she is overcome with hunger, desperately wishing she could eat that meal. Chen Xiao feigns concern, asking if she has enough to eat while secretly observing her. Acting vulnerable, he lies that he is scared living all alone. Sensing an opportunity, Liu Wanqing smiles manipulatively. She claims the debt collectors are still nearby. Acting seductive, she asks Chen Xiao if she can stay at his place for a few days. She smokes a cigarette with an arrogant air, suggesting she can keep him company in exchange for shelter. Chen Xiao grins while eating. He thinks she has taken the bait, mocking her for being so cheap. He plays along, noting she never let him visit before. He offers to pick her up tonight when it cools down if she gives him her address. Liu Wanqing dismisses the past, claiming the situation is special. Since he is her boyfriend, he must protect her. She agrees and sends her location. Chen Xiao looks at his phone with a dark expression, telling her to wait obediently at home. Unaware of the trap, Liu Wanqing relaxes, mocking Chen Xiao. She believes he is still a simp who wags his tail at any sign of sweetness. Chen Xiao smirks at his phone, amused by her attitude change. The woman who once acted high and mighty is now handing over her address just for a bite of food. His thoughts are interrupted by loud, aggressive knocking at his front door. Outside, a middle-aged woman with a young boy bangs on the door, demanding Chen Xiao open up. Chen Xiao walks to the entrance to listen. He opens the door to find his neighbor, Auntie Wang. He greets her sarcastically, asking what she wants. Auntie Wang tries to push in, feeling the cool air. She claims her AC is broken and the child can't handle the heat, using the neighbor excuse to demand entry. Chen Xiao shoves her out. He coldly reminds her of when he was little, picking up bottles with his mother. She had called them beggars and ordered security to chase them away. A flashback shows the cruel scene where Auntie Wang humiliated them while they were scavenging. Back in the present, Auntie Wang is furious. She dismisses her past cruelty, shouting that it happened years ago and shouldn't matter now. Screaming at him for holding a grudge, she accuses him of having no compassion. Chen Xiao sarcastically agrees that while he lacks compassion, he does have air conditioning. Chen Xiao slams the door shut. Outside, Auntie Wang bangs on the door in a rage. She screams insults, shouting that he deserved his parents' early death because he is uneducated. Her fury triggers Chen Xiao's system, detecting spikes of negative emotion classified as anger. Inside, Chen Xiao stands in the dark. He remains silent with an indifferent expression, ignoring the abuse. He goes to his desk and swaps his phone's SIM card to ensure anonymity. At his computer, he dials a contact saved as Dahai Gang. Chen Xiao informs the gang he has Liu Wanqing's address. He sends the location, emphasizing she lives alone and is easy to find. Secure in his fortress, he walks to the balcony. Looking over the city, he says Liu Wanqing's name and declares the show is about to begin. Meanwhile, Liu Wanqing admires herself in the mirror, confident that she will soon move into the comfort of Chen Xiao's air-conditioned fortress. Sitting on the edge of her bed, she gets lost in arrogant fantasies. She envisions Chen Xiao kneeling to serve her, convinced that a carefree life of luxury is the only thing worthy of her status. Completely relaxed, she lies back and lights a cigarette, waiting for Chen Xiao. Suddenly, she hears knocking at the door. Assuming her simp has arrived, she rushes over with a fake smile. She opens the door and immediately mocks the visitor for being so eager to please her. However, her smile instantly vanishes, replaced by pure shock and horror. Instead of Chen Xiao, she sees the mob boss, Zhang Yang, and his men. Terrified, she stammers, asking how they found her. Zhang Yang ruthlessly slaps her across the face, reminding her that the money owed to the Dahai gang is due today. Liu Wanqing falls to the floor in panic. She screams that Chen Xiao borrowed the money and tricked her into signing the papers, begging them to find him instead. Uninterested in her excuses, Zhang Yang holds up the contract. He shouts that since she signed it, she is responsible for the debt. The mob boss orders his men to search the apartment and take every valuable item they can find. As thugs haul away furniture, a desperate Liu Wangqing screams at them to stop. She insists she is calling Chen Xiao and that he will be there soon to pay. However, Zhang Yang sits casually on her sofa, gathering her luxury handbags and jewelry on the table. Liu Wangqing stands before him, terrified, as he inspects her possessions. Zhang Yang holds up a handbag with disdain, remarking that these scraps aren't even enough to cover the interest on her debt. With a greedy grin, he reminds her that his men didn't travel in this heat just to leave empty-handed. He stands up, casting a large shadow over her. Liu Wangqing backs away in fear, begging him not to come closer and insisting the money is with Chen Xiao. Zhang Yang maintains a cruel smile, enjoying the situation. Panicking, Liu Wangqing tries to bargain by revealing Chen Xiao has a stockpile of supplies. She urges them to wait, as he is coming to pick her up soon. She dials Chen Xiao's number, but an automated voice says it is unavailable. Sweat runs down her face as she listens to the recording. She stares at her phone screen, watching the call go unanswered. Her face pales as she realizes the truth. She stammers that no one is answering, completely losing her composure. A look of pure panic fills her eyes, wondering how this could happen. Desperate to keep the gang at bay, she forces a trembling smile. She tries to convince them that he is just busy and promises to call him back immediately. Zhang Yang loses patience and reveals the cruel truth. She is stupid for not realizing Chen Xiao tricked her into signing the debt so he could escape. Liu Wangqing stands frozen, pale with shock as she realizes she has been completely betrayed. Zhang Yang suddenly grabs her ruthlessly by the hair. Screaming in pain, Liu Wangqing tries to save herself, shouting that he needs to find Chen Xiao because he has the valuable supplies. Ignoring her screams, the mob boss drags her across the room towards the bedroom. The bedroom door slams shut with a heavy thud. On the floor outside, Liu Wangqing's shattered phone lies abandoned. Meanwhile, Chen Xiao sits comfortably in his fortified, air-conditioned safe house. Holding a glass of wine, he thinks about Liu Wangqing, satisfied that she is finally experiencing the misery he arranged for her. Outside, the city is dark, but his apartment remains a lone beacon of light and safety. Back in Liu Wangqing's apartment, the deed is done. Zhang Yang sits on the edge of the bed with his back turned, shirtless. Liu Wangqing is curled up on the bed, sobbing. Zhang Yang grabs a cup of coffee, interested by Liu Wangqing's desperate pleas. He leans in, forcing her to look at him, and demands she repeat exactly what supplies Chen Xiao has. Gasping as he grips her throat, Liu Wangqing frantically lists Chen Xiao's luxuries: air conditioning, iced drinks, and piles of food. She cries that he has everything. She emphasizes the amount of supplies, hoping this information will spare her further pain. Zhang Yang's eyes narrow with curiosity. He looks down at her. He tells her that although she has nothing left, she has pointed him toward the right target. Satisfied, Zhang Yang tosses her onto the bed. He realizes he has found a big fish, and that targeting Chen Xiao is the new priority. He stands over the sobbing woman with a greedy smile, planning how to take Chen Xiao's fortress. He orders his gang to leave, ready to move on to their next target. The door closes, leaving the apartment silent and destroyed. Alone in the dark, Liu Wangqing curls up, covered in bruises. Her tears turn to pure hatred. Shaking with fury, she curses Chen Xiao, vowing he will die a horrible death for tricking her. Outside Chen Xiao's apartment, a large group of people disturbs the quiet night. They march with hostile intent, their footsteps echoing together. Auntie Wang, his treacherous neighbor, leads the charge. She guides the gang to Chen Xiao's home, tempting them with his air conditioning and food, while calling him a stingy beast for not sharing. The scarred leader of the squad thanks Auntie Wang for her help, promising to reward her well once they take the supplies. Overjoyed, Auntie Wang calls the mobster Brother Zhang and thanks him for his generosity. She imagines Chen Xiao begging for mercy as the gang shields her. Desperate to survive, he offers his home to their leader. A malicious grin spreads across her face, eager to see his arrogance crushed. The group gathers on the sidewalk below Chen Xiao's fortress. However, the scarred leader pauses. He looks up at the building, sensing something is wrong. His instincts tell him this kid is more prepared than they thought. But his men are less cautious. A blonde thug with a baseball bat eagerly volunteers to kick down the door. Ignoring the potential danger, the thug screams, "Charge!" and runs for the entrance. As he reaches the perimeter, his foot triggers a hidden high-voltage trap. Blue electricity zaps him, and he screams in agony, shaking violently. The thug collapses, twitching. The scarred leader, unaware of the trap, looks down with contempt and asks why the trash cramped up. Another gang member rushes forward to help his comrade. When he touches the thug's shoulder, the current shocks them both. They scream for help as a bright flash lights up their silhouettes. Auntie Wang and the scarred leader freeze, shocked by Chen Xiao's terrifying defense system. Suddenly, a loudspeaker on the roof activates. The scarred leader and Auntie Wang look up in confusion. Instead of a siren, a cheerful song about good luck and joy blasts from the speaker. The happy music plays ironically as the trap continues its work. The gang members' silhouettes are lit by the blue electricity, while the song mocks their fate. Realizing the danger, the scarred leader and Auntie Wang jump back from the current, cursing in fear. Inside, Chen Xiao's system tells him he is collecting intense negative emotions like shock and panic from the people outside. Chen Xiao sits comfortably eating a popsicle and watching his monitors. He speaks into a microphone, mocking the gang's good luck for falling into his trap. Outside, the furious scarred leader points his weapon at the building, screaming for Chen Xiao to pay back the money. Auntie Wang yells that if he could afford renovations, he could pay his debts, and insults his upbringing. Chen Xiao responds calmly through the speakers. He smiles coldly, saying his apartment is worth 4 million, more than enough to cover the 3.5 million he borrowed. He dismisses them, saying the house is the payment. He tells them to find Liu Wanqing for her debt because it's not his problem. The scarred leader trembles with rage. He knows supplies are all that matter now, but Chen Xiao's arrogance infuriates him. Chen Xiao continues taunting them over the intercom. Biting his popsicle, he advises them to leave while he is still in a good mood. His expression then turns cold as he warns them to stop looking for trouble. His hand hovers over a large red button. Without hesitation, Chen Xiao presses the button. Outside, the trap unleashes a massive electric discharge over the entire entrance. An X-ray view shows their skeletons light up as the electricity hits them. They scream in agony against the relentless shock. Chen Xiao's system registers points for their pain and despair. When the electricity stops, the gang is unharmed but mentally broken. They stand sweating, staring at the building in fear. Knowing they can't get in, the scarred leader retreats. He screams a final threat that his gang won't let it go, then flees with his men. Auntie Wang is left behind, her face full of horror and hatred. She knows her plan to use the gang has failed. After the gang flees, the building stands tall under a blood-red sky. The intense heat from the concrete turns the outside world into an oven. The next day, the temperature reaches a deadly 52 degrees Celsius. The streets are deserted, baking under the sun. Inside the fortress, however, it's completely different. Chen Xiao relaxes on his sofa in the air conditioning, enjoying fresh fruit and feeling refreshed. A TV news alert warns of the extreme weather. It reports deaths from heat stroke and advises everyone to stay indoors as a red warning flashes. Chen Xiao's peace is interrupted by a notification from his phone. He sees the homeowners group chat is full of messages. Auntie Wang leads the attack, asking if he's human and accusing him of hoarding supplies while others suffer. Another neighbor calls him selfish. More messages flood in. Neighbors insist resources must be shared, calling him a murderer for refusing. Others claim they're dying from the heat and demand he explain himself. Chen Xiao sips a cold drink, unbothered. He calmly scrolls through the angry messages with a detached look. To him, these insults are resources. His system detects massive spikes of jealousy and anger from his neighbors. A red system notification appears. The negative emotion value has exceeded 1,000 points, and the system starts calculating his rewards. Inside his climate-controlled safe house, Chen Xiao stands before his open refrigerator, stocked with fresh food and drinks. To taunt his suffering neighbors, he smirks and takes a photo of his supplies. He posts the picture to the group chat, joking that his stockpile is large and asking who wants some. The neighbors bite the bait. Residents beg for a share. Auntie Wang shamelessly asks for delivery due to her bad legs, and others arrogantly demand water. Chen Xiao's expression turns cold. He replies that he isn't running a charity for freeloaders and will only accept trades of equal value. The neighbor's begging instantly turns to fury. In the chat, Auntie Wang and others insult him, calling him selfish and cursing him with karma. Having harvested enough negative emotions, Chen Xiao leans back on his sofa with a fresh apple. Suddenly, a system notification gets his attention. The system announces his negative emotion value has reached 3,000, unlocking Spatial Cut, a new skill that creates a microscopic rift within 3 meters. Intrigued, Chen Xiao activates the skill. He focuses on the apple on the table. With a swift hand wave, he unleashes the invisible blade, slicing the apple perfectly in half. Chen Xiao smiles, a dangerous glint in his eyes, thinking his survival game just got more interesting. That night, an orange off-road vehicle stops suddenly on a deserted city street. A woman in red high heels steps out. It is Liu Wanqing in a black evening gown, looking arrogant and ready for revenge. Suited bodyguards stand by the open Jeep door, where mob boss Zhang Yang sits, exhaling smoke. He looks intense as he lights a cigar, preparing for the raid. On the street, Zhang Yang asks his subordinates to confirm if this is Chen Xiao's location. His men confirm the target is in the complex's innermost building. To show his ownership, Zhang Yang gropes Liu Wanqing's backside. He holds her close and teases her, asking if she'll feel heartache seeing her former lover raided. Liu Wanqing plays the devoted mistress, leaning into him seductively and claiming her heart now belongs only to him. She speaks of Chen Xiao with pure disdain. calling him a useless piece of trash. However, her face twists with fury as she declares that tonight Chen Xiao will die. Their conversation is interrupted when Zhang Yang spots someone approaching from the residential area. It's Li Dafu, the supermarket owner, and a neighbor. Driven by greed, they run to the gang, offering to help block Chen Xiao's escape in hopes of getting on their good side. Zhang Yang looks at the desperate neighbors and makes a deal. If they help capture Chen Xiao, he will share a portion of the supplies with them. Li Dafu, thinking he's safe, eagerly leads the gang, calling the mob boss Big Brother and promising a shortcut. Meanwhile, other neighbors are looting supplies on the street, unaware of the approaching danger. The gang, led by Zhang Yang and Liu Wanqing, follows Li Dafu as he explains the complex's layout. However, when Li Dafu points to his own home to show solidarity, a red-headed thug coldly says the entire building now belongs to them. Panic sets in. Auntie Wang and a neighbor scream, realizing the gang plans to take everything, even from those who helped. The mob shows no mercy, beating the neighbors down. Lying in the dirt, they regret their greedy mistake of trusting these beasts. With the neighbors subdued, Zhang Yang, Liu Wanqing, and their armed thugs prepare to move on to their main target. They gather at the base of Chen Xiao's building, looking up at its high walls. Suddenly, a massive armchair hurtles down, crashing on the pavement in front of the startled gang. Chen Xiao calmly eats a steak, unconcerned by the army at his doorstep. Sitting in the armchair, he looks down at the mob and asks with a smirk if they're all looking for him. Zhang Yang hugs Liu Wanqing and yells up, threatening death and demanding supplies in exchange for leaving Chen Xiao's corpse intact. Chen Xiao ignores the threat, simply wiping his mouth with a napkin. His eyes glow with a menacing red light as he glares down, scolding the mob boss for rudely disturbing his meal. Zhang Yang's eyes widen, shocked by his prey's arrogance. Furious, Zhang Yang points at the building and screams for his men to cripple Chen Xiao. The confrontation becomes a street brawl. Chen Xiao weaves through the gang, easily dodging a punch. Focused, he charges into the group, grabs a thug by the head, and ruthlessly smashes him into the ground. A muscular, mohawked thug leaps into the air, swinging a spiked flail. Chen Xiao anticipates the attack, sidesteps as the weapon hits the pavement, and counters with a powerful kick to the thug's jaw. Seeing his comrades fall, another gang member unsheathes an axe. He lunges with a deadly swing, but Chen Xiao remains calm, activating his spatial segmentation skill to intercept the blade. Suddenly, the fight is interrupted as a yellow canister lands right next to Zhang Yang and Liu Wanqing. It detonates instantly, filling the street with a massive cloud of white smoke. Coughing, Zhang Yang realizes it's tear gas. Fearing a trap from a hidden accomplice, he orders his gang to retreat immediately. Inside the thick smoke, Chen Xiao casually dodges a final blind swing from a thug's axe. He spots a figure leaning against a building. The stranger comments on the trouble Chen Xiao caused but admits his fighting skills are impressive. Chen Xiao glares at the man suspiciously, demanding to know why he's there. The figure steps forward, revealing he is Mu Chang, the arms dealer in the floral shirt. Tossing a gas canister, he asks if Chen Xiao is still interested in guns, claiming he has good merchandise. Musong stares enviously at Chen Xiao's cooler box, amazed he has ice water in this heat. Chen Xiao gives him a bottle of water but asks why he's so far from his own territory. Mu Chang explains that a rival, Liu Haifeng, has been stealing his business, and he was tracking his men. He admits he followed the rival's men here and was surprised by Chen Xiao's large stockpile, assuming he has special supply channels. Hearing this, Chen Xiao's eyes narrow with alertness. He turns sharply, demanding what Mu Chang is implying. Mu Chang quickly reassures him, clarifying he wants to propose a partnership, not pry. He reveals Liu Haifeng has a massive stockpile of purified water. He suggests Chen Xiao extract it, they store it here, and Mu Chang will sell it. Chen Xiao contemplates the offer in the dark, knowing rising temperatures will make water more valuable than money. He agrees to cooperate, leaving Mu Chang in pure shock. Chen Xiao demands a 9-to-1 profit split. Outraged, Mu Chang shouts that it's robbery. The system notifies Chen Xiao he has harvested the strong emotion of shock. Unmoved, Chen Xiao turns to walk away, saying there's nothing to discuss if Mu Chang isn't willing. Desperate, Mu Chang abandons his dignity and clings to Chen Xiao's leg, begging for an 8-2 split so he can eat. With tears streaming down his face, Mu Chang realizes Chen Xiao can't be swayed and must have a powerful trump card. Satisfied with his dominance, Chen Xiao sips his drink and agrees to the 8-2 split. However, he adds a condition. He gets first pick of all future goods, and Mu Chang sells what's left. Resigned, Mu Chang sighs and agrees. Chen Xiao takes command, ordering Mu Chang to first scout the target's layout and personnel. Later, the two overlook a massive industrial complex. Mu Chang explains it's Liu Haifeng's stronghold, with the front used for trading resources. The place is heavily guarded by men with shotguns on patrol. Mu Sang reveals a darker side of the stronghold. pointing to women captured to provide special services for the leaders. A guard manhandles one woman, Liu Wanqing, who is now a prisoner after her betrayal. She looks terrified and helpless in a red dress. Mu Chang points out the rear water storage area, but admits he hasn't found the exact tank. Chen Xiao outlines his plan. He'll scout alone, and on his signal, Mu Chang must create a diversion. Mu Chang doubts how he can move the water by himself. Ignoring the doubt, Chen Xiao leaps from their vantage point toward shipping containers patrolled by guards below. Now on the ground, Chen Xiao moves confidently through the facility, dressed in dark clothing. However, he is quickly noticed. A guard stops him, noting his unfamiliar face and demanding his ID. Chen Xiao calmly shows a card, claiming Boss Liu sent him to count the water stock. The guard isn't fooled. He laughs, points his shotgun at Chen Xiao's back, and mocks the childish trick. The system registers the guard's mockery, adding to Chen Xiao's points. Chen Xiao decides his spatial cut is for more than peeling fruit. With cold resolve, he rests a hand on the guard's shoulder. He suddenly swipes the ID card. Infused with his spatial power, the plastic turns razor sharp, slicing through the guard's neck. The guard collapses instantly, not comprehending what happened. As blood sprays from the fatal wound, another guard witnesses the gruesome scene. Chen Xiao's system registers a surge of horror and pain from the victim. Overcome with shock, the guard pulls out a pistol and, screaming in panic, aims at his partner's killer. The guard opens fire, the muzzle flash illuminating the dark industrial site. But Chen Xiao moves with superhuman agility, easily evading the bullets. He retaliates with a long-range spatial slash. The guard keeps shooting but is no match for the invisible blade, which slices him in half mid-stride. The system notifies Chen Xiao he has harvested massive fear and despair points. Gunfire shatters the stronghold's silence. Reinforcements rush to the scene, including a guard with a rocket launcher. Outnumbered, Chen Xiao hides in the shadows against a concrete wall. He stays still as the frantic guards run past, not noticing him. While Chen Xiao hides, a pale hand suddenly emerges from the shadows behind him. He freezes, shocked to realize someone has found his hiding spot. Outside, the stronghold is in chaos. Guards swarm the area around the massive chemical tanks, hunting for the intruder. Armed silhouettes patrol past corrugated metal buildings, weapons raised as they hunt the killer. The figure in the shadows is Li Yu. She presses a finger to her lips, signaling him to be quiet. Crouched behind a shed, Chen Xiao asks why she is here. She sadly explains the gang captured her and assumes he was caught too. She looks disheveled and hopeless, kneeling on the ground. Chen Xiao asks if she knows where the water is. She nods, explaining her cleaning work let her learn the layout, and offers to lead him. For a distraction, Li Yu hurls a metal bucket into the courtyard, where it clatters loudly. The guards, including the one with the rocket launcher, turn toward the noise. Shouting they've found someone, they rush to the empty bucket. Seizing the opportunity, Li Yu leads Chen Xiao down a narrow alley, whispering that this route has no surveillance cameras. Li Yu leads Chen Xiao quickly through dirty, rat-infested back alleys to avoid detection. They stop at a large metal door, and Chen Xiao tells her to hide and wait for his return. Alone, he activates his spatial ability, summoning a black vortex in his hand. He focuses his energy, preparing to breach the wall. With a powerful surge, he punches the structure directly. The massive impact shatters the brick wall, sending debris flying as he enters. Inside, a patrolling guard is startled by the explosion. He stumbles back, looking around, confused. Terrified and sweating, he clutches his weapon and screams, demanding to know who is there. Chen Xiao steps through the breach, his eyes glowing with a terrifying red as he glares at the guard. Without hesitating, he unleashes a deadly spatial slash. The instant, precise attack slices through the guard's neck before he can pull the trigger. As the guard dies, the system notifies Chen Xiao he has harvested massive shock, fear, and pain points. Peering from her hiding spot, Li Yu begins to worry. She feels that Chen Xiao has been inside for a long time and wonders if something happened to him. She is feeling very anxious and just hopes that he is safe. But when she carefully looks inside, she is completely horrified. The place is full of destruction, and she can't believe what she is seeing. Everything has been wrecked. Suddenly, she notices a figure walking straight toward her out of the ruins. She panics, starts shouting, and gets ready to attack. Then she realizes it is just Chen Xiao. He calmly tells her that everything is handled and says they should leave now. He immediately turns around and starts walking away. Then, he pulls out a gun, points it into the air, and fires a single shot. The bullet explodes high in the air. Li Yu is shocked by the noise, but Chen starts laughing because he knows exactly what he just did. Meanwhile, waiting outside, Mu Chang sees the signal in the sky and immediately understands. He remarks that Chen Xiao is actually pretty impressive and sounds genuinely surprised. He then begins his own part of the destruction plan. He throws several prepared fire bottles onto the ground, causing chaos and explosions all over the place. The entire area quickly bursts into flames, People start shouting about the fire and rush around desperately trying to put it out. Just as they planned, everyone is completely distracted by the chaos. With the fire spreading, Chen Xiao and Li Yuyu easily move deeper into the other areas. Li Yuyu points the way, explaining that the alley ahead will lead them to the outskirts of the south gate. As they keep moving forward, another woman suddenly rushes up from behind and calls out to Chen Xiao, begging him to take her with them. It is Lu Wangqing. Chen Xiao turns around and recognizes her immediately. She pleads with him again, saying they used to be lovers, and asks him to take her for the sake of their past relationship. She moves closer and promises that if he takes her away from this place, she won't even blame him for using her name to take out loans in the past. Chen Xiao responds coldly, telling her that she really doesn't understand the situation at all. Hearing his cold tone, Lu Wangqing breaks down and starts crying. She sobs that the gang forces her to work every day, making her service old men. She explains that if she resists, they beat her, and if she tries to run away, they catch her and drag her back. She cries that she has nowhere else to go and begs Chen to let her live with him, promising she will do absolutely anything he wants. Chen Xiao looks at her and reminds her of everything she did. He asks if she ever thought about this day when she laughed at him for being poor, called him a simp, slept with old men behind his back, and even led Lu Haifeng to try and kill him. After hearing this, Liu Wanqing becomes truly terrified. In that moment, she finally realizes that the things she has done are completely unforgivable. Chen thinks even deeper. He recalls his past life and wonders. When she dismembered him back then, did she ever imagine a day like this would come? She did too many horrific things to him, and there is no way he can forgive her, no matter what she says now. He forces himself to keep his emotions under control because he cannot allow history to repeat itself. Chen coldly pushes her aside and tells her that her acting is still just as bad as ever. He then turns to Li Yuyu and says they should keep going. Li Yuyu glances at Liu Wanqing lying on the ground and silently hopes she learns a lesson from this and never becomes a person like her. At that moment, Liu Wanqing suddenly snaps. She screams that if Chen won't let her live, then she won't let anyone have it easy either. Immediately, a system notification pops up. Detected intense negative emotion, hatred, points 999. The number goes completely off the charts. Not long after they leave, the boss of the area arrives. The first thing he asks is about the water, shouting to know if his supply is safe since it is the most valuable thing he has. When his men open the door and see the damage inside, their hearts sink. There is nothing left at all. Then they notice words written on the wall. It clearly says that Boss Lu's water has been taken, and next time, his life will be taken instead. Lu completely loses his mind. He shouts furiously, demanding to know who did this. He is beyond angry. At that moment, Liu Wanqing speaks up from the ground. She tells Boss Lu that it was Chen Xiao. She lies and claims she tried to stop him, but Chen injured her and insulted Lu, calling him trash. She clings to Lu, deliberately manipulating him further by saying that Chen claimed Lu was unworthy of having such resources. She keeps adding fuel to the fire, warning him that Chen plans to take all of them down. Hearing this, Lu's anger completely explodes. He orders everyone to follow him to the south gate to slaughter Chen Xiao. A massive commotion spreads through the entire camp as the order is given to hunt them down. Up ahead, Chen and Mu Chang both notice the movement immediately. Mu Chang comments on it, clearly understanding that they are being chased. As the entire enemy force gathers behind their boss, Chen calmly mutters that Boss Lu moves faster than he expected. Still, he is already prepared. Lu points forward and screams the order to get him. Everyone behind him charges forward, their anger completely out of control. But this actually gives Chen the advantage. He stays calm and casually throws a torch onto the ground in front of them, instantly creating a huge wall of fire. The group is forced to stop, trapped behind the flames. The boss shouts through the fire that he will make sure Chen Xiao is finished. Right after that, a notification appears. Detected intense negative emotion. Hatred, plus 999. Now, there are two people whose hatred toward Chen has reached the maximum level. Chen, however, stays relaxed. He sarcastically thanks Boss Lu, noting that he will gladly take these emotion points to become stronger and earn even more in the future. Then, another notification pops up. Ding! Negative emotion points reached 3,000. Unlock new skill, Spatial Barrier. Inside the cozy shelter, Chen Xiao is busy hosting a small celebration. Mu Zhang laughs loudly, saying that what happened earlier was absolutely awesome. He bets that old dog Lu is probably tearing his own place apart in rage right now. They sit around the table, enjoying a spread of insanely delicious dishes. They party without a care in the world, completely ignoring the deadly heat wave raging outside. The food looks so incredible that just seeing it would make anyone want to join in. It's the kind of feast you want to dig into immediately, but sadly, unless you are sitting right there, you can only imagine the taste. Seeing all of this, Li Yuyu sincerely thanks Chen Xiao. She tells him that if he hadn't saved her, She doesn't know how much longer she would have been stuck in that hellhole. She is extremely grateful and feels ready to do anything to repay him. She even offers to handle the cooking, saying she knows how to make all kinds of food and just wants to make him happy, since she knows guys usually love a good home-cooked meal. Chen smiles warmly and reminds her that they are old classmates, so there is no need to be so polite. He understands her gratitude, but more than anything, he wants her to relax, feel safe, and just take it easy while she is here. Li Yu insists that she isn't just being polite. She explains that he made her feel like there are still people in this world worth trusting. Mu Chang then chimes in, adding that the whole hero saving the beauty move was pretty impressive too. He jokingly asks Chen to spill the details, wanting to know exactly how he managed to pull it off. He still can't believe Chen emptied an entire reservoir all by himself, and wonders if he used some kind of crazy magic. For a brief moment, the room falls into silence. Chen simply replies that he has his ways. He tells Mu Chang that instead of worrying about the how, he should focus on figuring out how to safely sell that much water. Hearing this, Mu Chang freezes for a second, realizing Chen is right. Selling that amount of water without exposing where it came from won't be easy at all. Chen then casually asks Li Yu about her life after junior high, mentioning that he never really heard any news about her after they graduated. Li Yu hesitates for a moment, then explains that her family ran into serious trouble shortly after graduation. She adds that her parents went missing around the same time. As she speaks, the bad memories overwhelm her, and she starts to feel panic rising again. Still, she pushes through the fear, knowing that Chen deserves to know the truth. But just as she is speaking, flames suddenly begin to rise around the perimeter. They can't believe their eyes. Mu Chang looks out the window and blurts out that the whole place is on fire. The fire is completely out of control. It is obvious that the people who lost their water supply either want it back or want everything destroyed. As the flames erupt violently, Chen, Mu Chang, and Li Yu all stare outside in shock. The fire is massive. Amidst the chaos, they can see people outside suffering in the heat. One person outside is holding a child, screaming desperately for help and begging someone to save the kids. Mu Chang suddenly realizes what is happening. He says Lu Haifeng must be behind this, and wonders if that bastard is really trying to burn everyone to death. Li Yu anxiously asks if they should go out and do something. Chen, however, remains lost in thought. He realizes that Lu Haifeng is trying to use morality and innocent lives as a trap to bind him. He thinks it is pointless because he is long past being the naive do-gooder from his past life, the one who got strangled to death just for trying to save everyone. Outside, Lu Haifeng shouts for Chen Xiao to come out. He threatens that if Chen doesn't show himself, he will burn the entire area to ashes just to see how long Chen's so-called iron turtle shell can last. One of Lu's underlings quickly flatters him, saying the boss is wise as always. He adds that if the fire keeps spreading, even if the people inside don't burn to death, the smoke will definitely finish them off. Lu enjoys the spectacle. As the fire grows bigger and bigger, his mood gets better and better. In his mind, he thinks that this is exactly what happens when someone dares to fight against him. The flames continue to rise higher, and nearby buildings start collapsing, which only fuels the fire even more. Inside the shelter, Mu Chang starts to panic. He says they can't just stay inside like this. He warns that the heat will conduct through the walls, and even if they don't burn, they'll either be roasted alive or suffocate from the lack of oxygen. Chen just smiles calmly. He already has a plan. He thinks to himself that in a high-temperature apocalypse, he would never be stupid enough to skip installing the highest-grade fire protection system in his safe house. He prepared for this exact scenario long ago. He even has random old PCs running the defense software, utilizing every piece of tech he has. Then, he calmly presses a red button on his console. Normally, when someone presses a big red button, things are about to go very wrong. But this time, it is the opposite. Outside, hidden devices activate and immediately begin spraying fire control grenades. They work like massive fire extinguishers, releasing thick suppressant smoke across the area. As the white smoke spreads, the flames rapidly die down. Mu Chang stands there in disbelief, completely stunned by the sight. He yells out, "Holy crap, it's nanograde aerogel!" He can't believe Chen could get his hands on something like that. He says this stuff is straight up military grade and asks if Chen robbed an army base or something. Li Yu is also completely stunned, watching the fire vanish before her eyes. As the fire starts dying down, the boss outside grows more and more frustrated. He snorts and claims this is just a desperate death struggle. However, he acts like he is prepared for this outcome too. Suddenly, one of the guys nearby tries to launch a sneak attack on Lu, thinking the boss is distracted. The guy swings his weapon with all his strength, but it is useless. The boss is far stronger. He takes the attacker down easily and orders everyone to keep attacking. He says he doesn't believe Chen's junk technology can last forever. He is ready to drag this out. The man beside him panics and stutters, telling the boss that their fuel is almost gone. He points out that the white mist from the house is way too effective. At that moment, Chen's voice echoes out from the shelter. He casually asks Boss Lu if he is done playing with fire and jokes, asking if he wants to come inside for a glass of ice water to cool off. Right after that taunt, a notification appears in front of Chen. Detected strong negative emotion, anger plus 888. The people standing around outside who were hoping to enjoy the fire show are now completely disappointed. With the flames dying down, there is nothing left to watch. Inside his head, the boss changes his mind. He decides that just killing Chen Xiao would be letting him off too easily. He realizes this house is fireproof, sturdy, and completely self-sufficient. In his eyes, it is the perfect shelter, and now he wants it for himself. Brute force didn't work. Fire attacks failed, so he decides there is no need to keep pretending anymore. He thinks that since it has come to this, no one should blame him for tearing away the last bit of civility he has left. As he looks toward the innocent civilians nearby, a look of pure fear spreads across their faces. Chen understands exactly what is about to happen, but he is already prepared for every possibility. With the fire burning nearby, Boss Lu shouts for Chen Xiao to get the hell out and look at all the people suffering because of him. The auntie immediately starts crying and screaming at Chen, calling him a damn little brat. She blames him for offending Boss Lu and dragging everyone down with him, demanding he come out. Meanwhile, another guy yells that Lu Haifeng is a bastard, declaring that if it really comes down to it, they will rush out and fight him to the death. Chen thinks to himself that using other people's lives to threaten him is the oldest trick in the book. Unfortunately, in this world, being soft-hearted is the same as committing suicide. Lu sneers, saying that if Chen wants to hide like a coward, that is fine. He will start with this old guy instead. He grabs an elderly man who is trembling and crying in fear. Suddenly, a voice shouts that Lu Haifeng will die a horrible death for doing this. Hearing that voice and seeing what is happening, Chen immediately recognizes the man as Grandpa Wang. He remembers how this old man once brought him water and told him to survive, saying that as long as he is alive, there is always hope. That memory finally sparks real anger in Chen. He turns and tells Mukong to stay inside and protect Yu Yu, stating he is going to settle the score with Boss Lu. The others look at him in shock, but they also understand. As Chen walks out into the sea of flames, he calmly tells Lu Haifeng that their grievances are strictly between the two of them and have nothing to do with anyone else. Lu is still gripping the old man by the collar, a torch burning in his hand. Hearing Chen's words, he throws the old man aside and mocks Chen, saying he is finally willing to crawl out of his shell. He asks if Chen wants to play the hero. Then, he lays out his conditions: pay back the money, hand over the water, and give up his life. Only then might he consider letting the others go. Chen responds coldly that he has no interest in playing the hero. The two of them stare at each other intensely. Then Chen raises his hand and points forward. He says that fighting and killing are boring and only damage one's karma. He adds that he heard Lu started out running a casino, so why not settle this the way Lu knows best? He proposes a bet. If Lu wins, everything Chen owns will belong to him. But if Chen wins, Lu must release Grandpa Wang and get the hell out of this area. Boss Lu bursts out laughing and agrees right away. He throws a dice cup over and says they will bet on who rolls higher. 1 round to decide life or death. Chen quickly catches it and calmly says he is betting on big. He adds that a god of gamblers showdown is about to begin. Both of them adjust their stances. For a moment, it feels like they are standing in a casino instead of a burning battlefield. They shout loudly as they begin shaking the dice. The dice device is switched on, and the dice inside start spinning wildly. As the dice roll, everyone around starts cheering for their boss, shouting that Boss Lu will definitely win. Boss Lu looks extremely confident. When the dice stop, he bursts out laughing. He proudly announces 3 sixes, a supreme roll, and declares that Chen has lost. Chen stays calm and tells him not to rush, saying the winner hasn't been decided yet. He then secretly uses a trick to manipulate the dice. He cuts through the dice cleanly and casually remarks that Boss Lu's dice don't seem to be of very good quality. Everyone instantly panics when they see the dice split in half. Someone shouts that the total points add up to 21, which beats the so-called supreme roll. Chen declares that Boss Lu has lost and tells him to release the old man. Boss Lu is furious. He accuses Chen of cheating and immediately charges at him. A notification pops up. Strong negative emotion detected. Anger. Po 500. As Boss Lu rushes forward with a knife, he curses Chen and screams for him to die. The people around panic in fear. Chen, however, stays composed. He thinks this is the perfect time to test his new skill. As Boss Lu lunges at him, Chen sidesteps effortlessly. He then hurls the dice device at high speed, terrifying Boss Lu. The device slams into the ground, kicking up smoke and debris. Everyone rushes over in panic, asking if the boss is okay as smoke fills the area. Boss Lu coughs and says he is fine. He orders 2 people to go find Chen. As the smoke clears, Boss Lu spots Chen ahead. He points at him and orders everyone to take him down. The goons immediately open fire, shooting wildly and shouting in excitement, eager to kill Chen. Boss Lu demands an update, but before anyone can respond, a sharp slash appears and takes down the goon standing right in front of him. Boss Lu is shocked. As the smoke finally settles, Chen is revealed standing there, completely unharmed. Boss Lu pulls out a huge rocket launcher, shouting that he doesn't care how strong Chen is. He claims there is no way to dodge this and tells Chen to die, firing the rocket immediately. As the rocket shoots forward, the boss shouts that everything Chen owns will be his. At that moment, a notification appears. Spatial barrier activated. A barrier instantly wraps around Chen's body, protecting him. The barrier takes the full impact of the explosion and blocks it completely. Boss Lu starts panicking. Sweat pours down his face as he wonders what is going on. He can't believe Chen blocked a missile. He starts to feel that this guy is simply unbeatable. Chen smirks and tells Boss Lu that losing in front of so many people must be tough. He asks if Lu plans to go back on the bet. As he speaks, Chen casually slices the missile apart with several cuts. Then he slowly starts walking forward. Seeing Chen approach, the boss feels genuine fear for the first time. Chen remarks that Lu doesn't even have a decent knife and isn't worthy of negotiating terms. In his heart, Boss Lu thinks there is definitely something wrong with this guy. Something is seriously suspicious. Chen says that Boss Lu keeps looking for trouble and crossing the line, so it is finally time to settle the score. But inside, Boss Lu is thinking fast. He realizes their fuel is gone and fighting head-on is a losing battle. This kid has strange abilities, and his safe house is a gold mine. He decides it would be better to recruit Chen Xiao and earn back his losses with interest. Even though he hates doing it, he forces a smile onto his face. With sparkling eyes and a fake friendly expression, he claims it is all a misunderstanding. He suggests they are just friends who started on the wrong foot and asks Chen if he wants to make a deal. Boss Lu tells Chen Xiao to listen closely to what he has to say. He warns that killing him would only leave blood on Chen's hands without gaining him anything. He adds that while human life is cheap in this world, he can actually help Chen survive and live better. He mentions he has a batch of medicine, antibiotics like penicillin and cephalosporin, and asks if Chen understands how precious those supplies are right now. He explains that even a small infected wound can take a life. He offers a deal. If Chen lets him go, he will split that batch of medicine with him. Chen Xiao listens carefully and admits that in times like these, antibiotics are indeed valuable currency. He honestly tells Boss Lu that he has more than just this one room, and his stockpile is far larger than Lu could ever imagine. Hearing this, Boss Lu looks shocked. Lu immediately points out that Chen only has food and water, but without medicine, a single illness could be fatal. He suggests they cooperate, revealing that the medicine is stored in an abandoned factory in the West District, and only he knows the password. Chen stares at him coldly for a moment before agreeing, saying that tonight's conflict ends here. He even wraps his arm around Boss Lu's shoulder in a seemingly friendly gesture. Boss Lu hurriedly agrees, saying yes, absolutely, it ends here, and that he is glad the misunderstanding has been cleared up. Chen Xiao tells him to go for now, and they can discuss the details another day. Boss Lu starts to leave. His underlings look confused and call out to him, asking what happened. Boss Lu simply orders them to move, and they all walk away together. Chen Xiao keeps a sharp eye on them as they retreat. Once they are far enough away, he quietly mutters that a simple password can't stop him. Even without it, he can open that door. He turns back to the neighbors still standing there, specifically Grandpa Wang, and reassures him that it is safe now since the gang has left. While Chen speaks to Grandpa Wang, the auntie can barely keep it together. She is panicking, frustrated, and overwhelmed with terror, her status clearly displaying fear plus 100. Grandpa Wang thanks Chen repeatedly. He says Chen saved his life, and if he ever needs anything in the future, he just has to ask. He admits he is too old to fight, but he can still help plant crops or do chores. Chen Xiao gently tells Grandpa Wang that he understands his intentions, but asks him to go back, lock his door, and get some rest. As the moon hangs high and the heat continues to rise even at night, everyone finally retreats indoors. Walking back, one of the thugs mutters that Chen Xiao scared him half to death earlier. Walking ahead of them, Boss Lu sneers and says that Chen Xiao is just a reckless kid. He scoffs at the idea of actually splitting the medicine, admitting that his talk of cooperation was just a stalling tactic. He explains that he only wanted to stabilize the situation first. Once he figures out how to get Chen's supplies, he will deal with him properly. He adds that if Chen thinks he can fight him, he is still far too green. Hearing this, the underlings immediately start flattering him. One of them praises the boss for being wise. Another agrees, adding that since Chen Xiao dared to fight Boss Lu, he probably won't live more than 3 days. Boss Lu's expression turns serious. He notes that something is definitely wrong with Chen Xiao. Even artillery shells couldn't get close to him, which makes no sense. He orders Pineapple Head to spend the next few days investigating Chen carefully. But before he can say another word, a sudden slash chops his head off. The underlings are instantly terrified. One shouts to run, while another screams, wondering if it's a ghost. Unable to believe what just happened, they panic and scatter, leaving Boss Lu's body alone on the ground. On a nearby building, a figure stands quietly with one hand extended. It is Chen Xiao. He calmly bids Boss Lu farewell forever. Later that night, a loud announcement echoes everywhere. It declares a state of emergency. The global high-temperature phenomenon is completely out of control. Multiple climate tipping points have been breached, and the ecosystem is on the verge of collapse. Authorities formally urge residents to make a choice based on their situation. One option is to migrate north to temporary government shelters. The other is to stay put and wait for rescue. The announcement repeats that this is not a drill. Chen Xiao listens and analyzes the situation. He knows that going north to that so-called Pure Land will soon turn into a new purgatory, and waiting for rescue is an even bigger fantasy. He knows deep down that the real nightmare has only just begun. As he thinks about the monsters, he reflects on the future. He knows that soon, heat-resistant mutant beasts will start devouring everything civilization created. He also knows that awakened humans will emerge and form factions, fighting over resources and killing each other. He realizes his goal isn't just to guard this safe house. He wants to turn it into the ultimate fortress for survival in the apocalypse. Outside, people are already starving. Someone shouts that they are dying of hunger and their homes have burned down, asking why Chen Xiao gets to live comfortably. Another person yells that Chen Xiao is occupying a massive, sturdy fortress all by himself, enjoying food, drinks, and air conditioning. Anger builds among the crowd. One man starts pounding on the door, shouting for Chen Xiao to come out. He blames Chen for refusing to help earlier, claiming that everyone ended up like this because of him. He demands an explanation. Others join in, declaring that Chen must share the safe house. They claim everyone should take turns living there for collective survival, smirking as they say it. Inside, Chen Xiao doesn't react at all. He listens to relaxing music while calmly doing household chores, completely at ease. He even takes a picture of his delicious meal and posts it online, casually scrolling through the comments afterward. As he reads the reactions, status notifications pop up. Jealousy plus 150, anger plus 130, despair plus 95. Chen Xiao looks at the comments and thinks that incompetent rage is the cheapest emotion in the apocalypse. Outside, the crowd can only shout, curse, and throw things to vent their frustration. Some even smash their own phones. One man throws his device and curses, saying that since Chen refused to do things the easy way, he'll be forced to do them the hard way, swearing he will take Chen down. Meanwhile, Chen Xiao thinks about the abandoned factory in the West District and decides to scout the route. However, the moment he steps out, the crowd starts throwing objects at him. Amidst the flying debris, a machete suddenly flies straight toward him. As Chen Xiao dodges the objects flying straight at him, he sees a group of people charging forward. They shout that if he doesn't give up his house today, they'll cripple him. But the moment they see Chen Xiao rushing straight at them, they are stunned. Chen Xiao grabs one attacker's wrist and twists it hard, forcing him to drop his weapon. The man can't believe how fast Chen Xiao is. Another thug tries to attack from behind, but Chen Xiao easily dodges that too. After disarming the first guy, Chen Xiao now holds the weapon himself. Just then, another man thinks he sees an opening and rushes in to attack. As the guy winds up to strike, Chen Xiao stares at him coldly and unleashes a series of rapid slashes. In an instant, all the attackers are lying on the ground. One of the fallen men trembles, accusing Chen Xiao of daring to attack people in broad daylight with so many witnesses watching. A system notification pops up, fear plus 1000. Chen Xiao calmly responds that killing them right now would just dirty his hands, so he won't do it. Hearing this makes the men on the ground feel even more humiliated. As Chen Xiao walks away, he thinks that killing them directly would be letting them off too easily. In this hot weather, their wounds will get infected. They will slowly rot in pain and die within a few days. Sometime later, Chen Xiao arrives at the West District factory, which is sealed shut even during the day. He spots a surveillance camera nearby. He immediately cuts the wire, destroying the camera and the nearby equipment. He slips inside the building and quietly looks around. Suddenly, he starts coughing and realizes the air is filled with poison gas. He curses, realizing that this is a trap and he is in real trouble. Just then, he senses other people nearby. A person wearing a gas mask rushes over and quickly injects Chen Xiao with a syringe, catching him off guard. The masked man calmly says that Chen Xiao should feel a bit better now. He explains that although the nerve gas isn't fatal, it is extremely painful. Chen Xiao demands to know who they are. Internally, he wonders why there are guards here since Lu Haifeng never mentioned them. He suspects that old bastard might have set him up, but these strangers don't seem hostile. The masked man puts the syringe away and hands another injection to a woman standing nearby. He introduces himself as Lin Guodong, a biomedical researcher. Chen Xiao looks around and thinks that this place is strange, with all kinds of equipment lying around. It feels more like a high-tech laboratory than a simple medicine storage room. As they walk, Lin says that since Chen Xiao needs medicine anyway, he can take whatever he wants. He tells him to consider it an apology for the trap and also a small gift for their first meeting. Chen immediately starts checking the shelves. He stuffs his bag with all kinds of useful and rare medicines. After a while, he slings the bag over his shoulder and thanks Lin. As Chen turns to leave, Lin watches him closely and calmly says that they will meet again soon. Later that evening, even though the sun has set, the heat is still unbearable. When Chen Xiao finally returns home, he starts to feel uneasy. He thinks that although Professor Lin saved him, the way that man looked at him was creepy. Just then, a notification pops up in the homeowner's group chat. Someone is desperately asking for antibiotics or medicine to stop bleeding, offering to buy them at a high price. Chen Xiao looks at the medicine he just looted. He knows the quality is good, but he decides they are not for sale. The group chat explodes with rage at his refusal. One person calls him a selfish villain. Another threatens that once they recover, they will come to his door and kill him. System notifications start popping up non-stop. Anger plus 99, hatred plus 200, jealousy plus 380. Chen Xiao ignores the insults and starts looking through his bag. Suddenly his expression freezes. He pulls out a small device and realizes it is a tracker. Chen Xiao inspects the tracker, surprised and suspicious that someone planted it on him unnoticed. Looking at the sunset, he decides not to destroy the device but to turn the situation into a game. With a confident look, he chooses to play along with the stalker. He spots a stray white cat near a green dumpster in the alley. Gently, Chen Xiao attaches the tracking device to the cat's back. He asks the cat to carry the device around the city for him, and the cat simply meows back. The cat runs off along the pipes, carrying the signal away from Chen Xiao. Meanwhile, on a laptop screen, the signal creates a chaotic web of red lines across the city map. Lin Guodong stares at his screen in frustration, unable to understand his target's erratic movements. Back home, Chen Xiao checks the group chat. A man sends desperate messages begging for medicine for his dying brother. Immediately after, a woman holding a child begs for water, offering to trade picture books. Chen Xiao looks at the phone coldly, remembering from his past life that her pity act was just a manipulative trick. He reads a hateful message accusing him of being a monster for hoarding supplies while a child is dying. Unmoved, he dismisses the moral pressure. He looks at a surveillance photo showing a neighbor secretly moving boxes of supplies. Chen Xiao replies, exposing a neighbor named Wang Wei. He reveals her stockpile and challenges her to donate first before he helps. Inside her apartment, Wang Wei looks at her phone in shock. She realizes with horror that Chen Xiao recorded her with hidden cameras and is furious her secrets were exposed. The group chat instantly shifts. Neighbors turn their anger toward Wang Wei, demanding she share her hidden water. Moments later, a group of desperate armed men arrives outside her door. An axe smashes through the wood and Wang Wei stares in terror as her home is breached. A frantic neighbor bursts in, screaming for her to hand over the food. Another man glares with murderous intent, warning her not to force them to use violence. Wang Wei is left cowering in fear. The mob rushes past her, tearing the apartment apart to grab the supplies. Amidst the chaos, the begging woman sneaks in and greedily stuffs her bag with water, ignoring her child. Afterward, Wang Wei sits alone in her ransacked room, bruised and with torn clothes. She cries in despair, having lost her supplies and dignity to the mob directed by Chen Xiao. In the stairwell, neighbors face the heat wave. A group stands over a rotting body, bidding their brother farewell. Panic sets in. A man screams that leaving the corpse will spread disease, shouting in despair. Suddenly, Lin Guodong descends the stairs with his assistant, telling everyone to stay calm. He claims to be a medical team from the city's CDC sent to help. Putting on gloves, Lin apologizes for the delay and maintains a professional demeanor to lower their guard. He inspects the victim, stating they can handle it, but warning that the body must be disposed of to prevent a plague. The neighbors watch him with respect and hope as he examines the dead man. To solidify his cover, Lin hands out disinfectant wipes and medicine, telling them to share the limited resources. The neighbors are overcome with gratitude, naively believing the government has finally sent help. However, Lin is only there to track the signal. He realizes the erratic movement stopped nearby and deduces his target is hiding close. High up in his fortress, Chen Xiao observes the situation in the building across from him. He is surprised to identify Professor Lin Guodong in the crowd, confirming his suspicions. Chen Xiao realizes Lin must be actively tracking him using the planted bug. Suddenly, a vibration from his pocket interrupts his thoughts. He checks a text message from an unknown number. Watch out for that doctor. He stares at the screen, confused about who sent the message and how they know the danger. Standing by the window, he looks at the skyline, trying to process this new variable. The alert reflects in his eyes as he realizes the situation is becoming more complicated. Meanwhile, the lens of a high-powered telescope is focused on the area. A mysterious figure on a rooftop uses the telescope to secretly observe the events. Chen Xiao realizes that besides Lin Guodong, someone else is watching him from the shadows.